You know, you talk about the U.S. and they have class action lawsuits. They happen all over the time, all over the place in the United States. You don't see them that often in Canada. Sometimes, though, they might be a good idea. Faith Goldie has one, and the LCBO is the target.
Yeah, beer store as well. Basically, there is a restaurant and bar owner in Burlington, Ontario. Runs a place called The Poacher,
yeah,
which
I like that
our
name.
own Alex Pearson used to frequent back in her
Oh, really?
days. Yeah. Anyway, this guy has really launched, for folks at home, one of the most noble causes, worthwhile causes in this class action lawsuit. He's looking for $1.4 billion. Why? Because he says that the beer store, alongside their friends, the LCBO, have essentially worked together in what he refers to as a conspiracy to set prices, to fix beer prices, and in such a way that it costs him an exorbitant amount than what he should be charged. This all follows, of course, a recent Toronto Star investigation and report. And really, it was just an explanation of a policy that's been in place since the Harris days of this province. And what this policy allowed was cooperation between the beer store and the LCBO, where the LCBO...
Cooperation. Well, interesting choice of words.
It's now before the courts.
As opposed, yes.
Not to get too political about things here, but what this cooperation...
Some would say collusion. You could use that word.
Yeah, okay. So what this collusion essentially allowed was that the beer store, they could sell you all the beer you wanted, but the LCBO would only sell as much as, let's say, a 6-pack or per can. And so what this does is it allows the beer store to essentially be the alpha and omega when it comes to supply and picking a price and the rest of it. And the beer store essentially exclusively could sell to food and beverage companies, to food and beverage establishments, namely restaurants. And so these guys are being gouged. It's not just the consumer, but it's also the retailer as well. So this guy's saying, you know,
and me, if I go in and support a bar, then I'm paying more because the government's paying.
Yeah, and you're wondering why you're paying like $8 a pint or, you know, $12 a drink.
I don't think it'd make that much of a difference, quite frankly.
I know, but you know what? But this is the issue, because there is a demand. So we're going to pay that money to get the booze that we want to drink, and they're taking good advantage of that. So although this might have been a Harris policy, what we're going to see take place, hopefully, is some finger pointing at Wynne and the Liberals that came before her, namely Dalton McGuinty. And they're going to say, well, you sat on this policy for 12 years and you did precious little about it. And this is a huge populist, a game changer and crowd pleaser when it comes to the idea of privatizing beer and spirits and the rest of it in this province. It's something we saw Tim Hudak kind of sort of hesitate but touch a little bit, and it was massive for the entire province. Then he shied away from that and kind of lost the election, but that's besides the point. We'll see, because now it's before the courts, and so the question becomes, does that throw a wrench now in any sort of policy change that we could otherwise see from the Wynne government? Okay, so $1.4 billion in this class action lawsuit. Does he have, I mean, this is one bar owner, does he have support either amongst the bar community or the public? Yeah, certainly, and because it is class action, that means that more people can hop on board. So I'm sure Kathleen Wynne
How do you do that? Do you know how to do that?
No, I'm sure you just get in touch with the legal counsel and just say, look, I'm ready to split some fees, and hopefully we'll be able to split some earnings, you know, if this actually does succeed in a court of law. What the merits of the case will be, well, those will be determined as we get closer to the date before it is before the courts. We'll figure out exactly what arguments they're angling for and the rest of it. I know that according to the notice issued by the poacher, it says that the action arises from a conspiracy to fix, raise, maintain, or stabilize prices of beer in Ontario. And like, I'm sorry, I know it hasn't been found to be so in front of a court of law, but based on the Toronto Star report, Pat, that is what they're doing. They're fixing these prices. They're controlling supply and therefore pushing the price equilibrium way up in this province. People don't, you know, I get that, and we used to have a province where this was all so tightly controlled and then came off prohibition, and this is how it was divvied up. Here's the thing, though. I wonder if this is a poison pill. In other words, the Liberal government might be saying, you know what, we should be thinking about privatizing the LCBO, but we really can't while this is before the courts, and whether it will kill any kind of initiative. Not that I think the Liberals are going that way, but you never know. Right. I frankly have no idea how this will play out when it comes to Kathleen Wynne's own personal intentions and how she'll handle this. I think that because the matter's before the courts, she does have a certain grace period now. She doesn't have to act right away. But should this be on her radar? 100%, because again, this is a populist sort of policy. This is a game winner and game changer, no matter how you slice and dice it. It's like, hey, I care about all these things to do with jobs and the economy. Okay, that's great for a lot of people out there. And guess what? I'm going to free up a whole bunch of money in your pocket so you can go buy more beer. Excellent, super. What good, Canadian person would be against that?
That's true Canadian. That's more Canadian than hockey.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Hand in hand. Faith Goldie joining us.
All right, thank you.
We're going to take a